What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel, and it's time for a game preview / game prediction for the 2023 college football season. And our next game preview / game prediction will be Week 7's matchup between the Oregon Ducks and the Washington Huskies. We are now officially halfway through the college football season, so now it's time to give you our first game preview / prediction here for the second half of the college football season. And this is probably the biggest game of the weekend here, a top 10 showdown here between the Oregon Ducks and the Washington Huskies, a Pac-12 regular season game. A lot of history here between Washington and Oregon, a big-time rivalry game as well. Washington leads the series 61-48. Washington defeated Oregon last year on the road at Oregon, but this year they finally get it at home. So Washington and Oregon here, probably the biggest game of the weekend. We don't know if College Game Day is going to this game, but I think it's very well likely that this game is going to go to College Game Day this upcoming weekend. So we're going to give you a game preview / game prediction for this one. We're also going to give you the stat comparisons here between these two teams, give you their previous game results from, the first half of the college football season, and then we'll give you a game prediction at the end of this one and see how the game will go down this upcoming weekend. So we're going to get things started here with the stat comparisons between these two teams as we get into our game preview / game prediction for the Oregon Ducks and the Washington Huskies. So we'll start with the stat comparisons here between these two teams. We'll start with Oregon first. They're coming into this game with a record of 5-0. They're averaging about 51.6 points per game, so a very explosive offense of this Oregon team. And they're averaging about 557.8 yards per total yards this year. And that's the reason why this offense is so very explosive. And then the passing yards, Bo Nix throwing 330.6 yards per passing. This passing attack has been really good this year for this Oregon team. You look at the running game as well. Oregon's a really good running team as well, 227.2 yards per rushing this year. This team has really good tailbacks and everything. And again, this offense is just very, very explosive for this Oregon team. And then offensively, you look at the offensive rankings, second on offense. I mean, you could just tell by the numbers that this offense is very explosive for the Ducks. Defensively, on the rankings, they're 6th in the country as well. So their defense, they are pretty solid as well. If they didn't have a defense, I mean, this team would probably be, in some close games. But their defense has been really good this year. They're 6th in the country on defense. And then for Washington, they're coming into this game with a record of 5-0 as well. So both of these teams are undefeated going into this game this weekend. You look at the points per game, Washington's averaging about 46 points per game. So they're also a very explosive offense. Total yards per game, 569.4 yards per total yards this year. So again, this offense is very explosive. Kind of compared it to Oregon, but just a little bit more explosive than Oregon. Passing yards, Michael Penix averaging about 446.4 yards per passing. Michael Penix definitely one of the top quarterbacks in the country. He's close to that 2,000-yard marker, which I think he'll reach that this weekend. Rushing yards, this is a team that doesn't really run the football that much. I mean, their best running back is Dylan Johnson. He's leading the team in rushing yards this year, but again, this is a passing attack Washington team, so they're not really passing or actually running the football that much this year. Then you look at the offensive ranking for this team. They're first in the country. I think they're, tied for first in the country with USC. So again, both offenses are the top two offenses in the country. And then defensively here in the rankings, they're 65th on defense, which is not a really good number. The defense for Washington has not been really good in the last two games. I should say the last three because they had a bye week this past weekend, but it goes back to those last two games. So the stat comparison-wise for both of these teams, they're both really even on the offensive side of the football. Both teams are averaging 500-plus total yards per game, and also the passing yards. Michael Penix definitely better than Bo Nix, but Bo Nix has had a great season as well. Both quarterbacks has just been really good, but the rushing yards number goes to Oregon. They've been just really good at running the football this year. So stat comparisons, again, Washington has the advantage in the offensive yards, and then Oregon has the advantage here on the defensive side of the football and the rushing yards. So these are the stat comparisons between Oregon and Washington heading into this weekend. Let's now get into the game summary here for both of these teams. This game will be at 3:30 Eastern Time on Saturday. It's on ABC in Seattle, Washington. Washington is favored by 3 points by a field goal here. The over and under as of right now stands at 67.5, so that's a pretty high over and under number. That means that, we're kind of expecting a shootout here, which I do agree with the over and under. I think this game is definitely going to be a shootout just based off of the numbers that we've seen, so far in the first, half of the college football season. Oregon, again, they're, 5-0 going into this game. Washington is also 5-0. This is a top 10 showdown. Again, Washington favored by 3 points. And according to the FBI, Oregon is the favorite going into this game. According to the FBI, they're about 55% of a chance to win this game. And they're also giving Washington about a 45% chance. So you can just see how even this matchup is going to be, and also how even this game is going to be. I mean, it's like a 50-50 matchup. I mean, it's obviously going to be a 50-50 game, especially when we talked about this game in the preseason. So again, this game's at 3:30 Eastern Time on ABC this Saturday in Seattle. Washington, again, favored by a field goal, which doesn't really surprise me. I think Washington is just favored because they are at home in this game, and the over and under is just going to be really making sense in this one, because the over and under should be a little bit higher, because this obviously is going to be a big time shootout. But I do like that over and under number at 67.5. So again, this game's at 3:30 Eastern Time this Saturday. Again, a top 10 showdown here in the Pac-12 Conference. Let's now get into the previous game results here for both of these teams. So for Oregon, they're coming into this one at 5-0. They defeated Portland State on September the 2nd. They defeated them 81-7. Defeated Texas Tech in that close game 38-30 on September the 9th. Then they defeated Hawaii 55-10 in another blowout. And they absolutely dominated Colorado in their first Pac-12 game on September 23rd. Defeated them 42-6, ended Deion Sanders' winning streak and everything. Then they defeated Stanford on September the 30th a couple weeks ago, 42-6. So, and back-to-back Pac-12 games have been pretty dominant. I mean, they had a bye week this past weekend, so that's the reason why they're not sitting here at 6-0. They had a bye week this past weekend, so it's pretty good game results here for Oregon. They don't have that big-time win just yet against a top 10 team. They will get that opportunity this upcoming weekend, though. Washington, looking at their previous game results, they had that win over Boise State on September the 2nd, 56-19. Defeated Tulsa on September 9th, 43-10. And then they obviously blew out Michigan State on September 16th, 41-7. A lot of people didn't see that coming, which, I kind of saw it coming because Michigan State and Mel Tucker was kind of in trouble, so that's the reason why Michigan State, I think, was kind of really sluggish in that game. Then they defeated Cal September 23rd in their first Pac-12 game, 59-32. Cal put up a pretty good fight in that game, gave Washington a little bit of trouble in that game, and then obviously surviving in that game a couple weeks ago against Arizona on the road, 31-24. So, yeah, Washington, I think that's the reason why their defense is at 65th in the country, is that their defense has not been really good in the past two games, and they're also coming out of a bye week. So both of these teams have had a bye week to prepare for this big game. But again, you look at the game results, I think Oregon has had more bigger wins than Washington. But, both of these teams are pretty similar in the month of September. And, obviously both of these teams just continue to get better and better as well. So, again, the game results, both of these teams are 5-0. Those are the game results here for both of these teams. Let's now get into the prediction here for both of these teams this upcoming weekend. So, again, Oregon and Washington. Pac-12 showdown here in the Pac-12 Conference to open up the second half of the college football season. And again, Washington leads this series 61-48. It's been a really close rivalry as of late here between both of these teams. This will be the last time as well that Washington and Oregon will go at it here in the Pac-12 Conference before they head to the Big Ten next year. So how I think the game's going to go down, I think we kind of expect a shootout here between these two teams, obviously because both offenses have been really explosive. Defensively, I think Oregon has the better defense in this game, but I do expect Washington to score a lot of points with a passing attack. I just wonder if Oregon's going to be good against the pass against Washington's offense, but end of the day, though, I think home field advantage is going to play the difference in this game. Maybe a turnover also changes the game, and I think it's going to kind of come down who has the better offense in this game. And with that being said, I think Washington with home field advantage does get it done in this one, and I got them winning this one 42-38. That is my final score prediction in this game. Again, it's a big-time shootout here between these two teams, but I do like Washington here to get it done. So I got Washington winning this one 42-38. Again, I think a turnover kind of changes the game, and also it comes down to who has the better offense in this game and who has the final possession as well. I think whoever runs that clock out is definitely going to have a chance to win this game, but I think obviously with home field advantage, I think Washington gets it done. So this is my game preview / game prediction here for this game here between Washington and Oregon. Let me guys know what you think about this game. Who do you think wins it here in the Pac-12? Do you think Oregon wins it, or do you think Washington wins it? And again, I think this is the biggest game upcoming weekend here in week number 7. Again, it's a top 10 showdown. Hopefully College Game Day will go to this game as well. But give your thoughts on the comments below. Who do you think wins this game, Washington and Oregon? My final score prediction again is 42-38. And thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports Channel.